All right, so in 1997, a man came to my house and tried to murder me. That is correct. I'm going to go into all the details, but this happened about 20 years ago. And I did a YouTube video on this a while ago. It's a very, very chilling story. As I say, I'll tell the whole story in a minute. However, just the other day, I'm currently in Thailand right now on holiday with my family. As I'm on the plane, flying to Thailand, I'm just scrolling Twitter because I'm bored, I'm connected to the Wi-Fi, and I come across a post that blows my mind, okay? Apparently, the guy that came to my house and tried to murder me was some renowned serial killer who apparently has confessed to it because he's in prison for life for murder and rape. So, here is the post that I saw on Twitter before I give you the backstory. It says, "Did Michael Bisping escape a notorious hammer killer?" While recounting a harrowing home invasion in his recent documentary, British UFC champion Michael "The Count" Bisping may have unknowingly reopened one of Northern England's coldest murder cases. In the late 1990s, Bisping was ambushed in his flat by a masked intruder dressed in black, wielding a hammer and dousing the room in petrol. Bisping escaped after a brief struggle, but a chilling pattern has since emerged. Between 1991 and 2004, a string of unsolved murders across Northern England followed an identical modus operandi. Forced entry, petrol-doused crime scenes, and blunt force trauma from a hammer. All of this ties into what happened to me, by the way. The attacks ceased abruptly, leaving the cases cold. However, a recent confession from a convicted rapist and arsonist has reignited suspicions. The man, now serving a life sentence, boasted to fellow inmates about his close call with Bisping, implying the UFC star narrowly escaped becoming another victim. Though authorities have yet to confirm his claims, this chilling connection suggests that Bisping's intruder may have been one of the UK's most elusive serial killers. Now, there's another page to the post as well, which reads as following: "Face to face with a monster. My exclusive prison interview with the man claiming to be Northern England's elusive hammer killer. He terrorized the region for over a decade, left a trail of unsolved murders, and now he says that Michael Bisping was nearly his next victim. In part 2 of this investigation, I sit down with the man who confesses to being the mastermind behind the infamous hammer murders, and his shocking words will leave you questioning how he evaded justice for so long." So of course, this is insane to me because I knew nothing about this. I had a theory as to who I thought it was that came to my house on the night in question, but I never thought it was a notorious serial killer. Now, apparently this came from someone, this is according to a Twitter account, My Name is Marshall. The crime journalist that wrote this is the creator of a YouTube channel, That Chapter. It's an Irishman named Michael O, and he was working on Crime Beat in Wales for over 8 years. I've looked at the page, That Chapter. It's got over 2 million subscribers, so certainly a credible page. So this all goes back to a story that happened in 1997, I think it was, or maybe even 98, around that. I was living behind the greengrocers, okay, where they sell fruits and vegetables. You know what a greengrocers is, or maybe some of this newer generation don't. However, around that time, I was hanging out with my friends, I was partying a lot, or that's all I did. Back in the 90s, I lived for the weekends. I was working a dead-end factory job. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I go out with the boys and we'd have a good time.
Are you intoxicated?
Me and the boys around those times, we would find ourselves getting into a few scuffles, and on one Thursday night, some trouble erupted. I ended up on the receiving end, innocently actually. I was trying to stop a fight, and then some guy headbutted me, and then I said, "What have you done? Did you just headbutt me?" And then he did it again, so I punched him in the stomach. He was there, the landlord of the pub. Everyone jumped to me, about 10 guys with bar stools and stuff. That's why I've got a scar right between my eyes there. That was a metal stool in my face. I walked around the corner, there was one of them there. He attacked me. I gave him a good going. I left him there unconscious, and then I went about my business. That's a little bit of the backstory. So something happened on the Thursday night. Now, I thought that was who did this, because what happened was I went out on the Friday night and I went out on the Saturday night as well. When it got to Saturday afternoon, I was absolutely exhausted because 3 nights in a row. So it got to about 9, 10 p.m. I said to the guys, I said, "Look, listen, I'm going home. I'm too tired. I can't do it. I am absolutely exhausted." So I go back to my humble abode, my little flat behind the greengrocers. I lie down on my couch from like the 1970s. It was like a plastic fake leather couch. I'm lying on the couch. It's about now, I would say 12:30, 1 a.m. in the morning. I couldn't sleep. I'm led there on the couch just watching some crappy movie on TV. As I'm led there on the couch, I think I hear a knock. It's Just a little knock like that. And I'm like, did I hear a knock? So I turn the TV down and there's no knocking sound. So I sit there puzzled for a minute or two. And then after a minute, sure enough, another very, very faint knocking sound. So now I'm kind of concerned and a little alarmed because if it was somebody I knew that was trying to get my attention, they'd be banging on the door nice and loud saying, Mick, come on, open the door. It's us, it's the boys. We've come round for a beer, see what you're doing. But no, they were intermittently, minutes between them, and very faintly just knocking on the door. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? Bearing in mind at this time, I was only about 17, 18 years old as well. So I tiptoe from the front room into the kitchen to the only entrance. There was only one way into this flat, one door, in and out. So I walk to the back door and I'm standing there in silence and I'm thinking, what's going on? There's no one there. But I stand there and I wait. And then sure enough, after a minute or two, very, very faint knocking sound. So I'm like, whoa, there's somebody on the other side of that door. What the hell is going on? So I say, who is it? And then a muffled voice returns. It's John. I'm like, John? I don't know a John. I said, John who? And they went, John. As if like, it's John. And then in my mind, I'm kind of puzzled, but I'm thinking, well, it's John. So I open the door like a fool. I open the door and the moment it opens, I get sprayed in the face with CS gas, which is like mace if you're in America. So I fly back. I back up into my kitchen. My eyes are burning. My face is burning. I'm like this. And then I open my eyes and I'm absolutely terrified because what I saw before me, I will never ever forget. There was a guy there with black boots on, black pants, a black jacket, and like a black hood over his face with 2 holes for the eyes and 1 hole for the mouth. If that wasn't scary enough, he was holding a canister of petrol or gasoline and he was just throwing it angrily all over the kitchen and all over me, right? And gritting his teeth as he was doing it. Now I'm standing there. I'm only a teenager myself. I am absolutely shitting my pants. I'm like, what's going on? What are you doing? What are you doing? I've told this story before, so if you've seen this, I apologize. But in those situations, you think you'd be a hero and attack and things like that, but I've been gassed in the face. It's the middle of the night and it's absolutely terrifying. By the side of me, there was a big kitchen knife block. I should have grabbed one of the knives and chased him off. However, I was so terrified, I was frozen with fear. So I didn't do that. I was just screaming, what do you want? What do you want? And then eventually he pulls out a set of matches and he's trying to light a match to burn the place down. And I'm standing there screaming and he's trying to light them and he's looking at me and the matches are breaking. Now I know this sounds like it's something from a movie and it's exaggerated, but I'm telling you right now, this is exactly how it happened. So as he's trying to light, I sprint past him into the front room where the telephone is. I pick up the telephone, dial 999 to call the police. They answer. Hello? Do you want fire, ambulance or police? I'm screaming on the phone. I'm going, oh my God, someone's trying to kill me. Send the police round, 88 Borderlands, send them round quick. And they're going, sir, calm down. And I'm repeating myself over and over again, but I'm talking so quick, maybe they couldn't understand me. And they're saying, sir, calm down. I'm like, you don't understand. Somebody's trying to kill me. And whilst I'm doing this, the attacker or whoever it was has stopped what he's doing. And he's just kind of watching me with he had a hood on, but he was just kind of watching me weirdly, observing me. And I'm terrified still, so I think I'm getting nowhere with the police. So I put the phone down and I call up my ex-girlfriend that I just broke up with. I'm like, help, you've got to send the police round. Someone's here trying to kill me. It was at that point, this guy, this intruder seemed convinced that I was actually talking to somebody. At this point, he dropped the canister of petrol and then from his belt pulls out a big hammer, a lump hammer, short hammer with a big fat head on it, which again coincides with exactly what this person's talking about. He pulls out the hammer and comes marching towards me. As he's marching towards me, I'm on the phone, I'm like, holy sh**. So I shut the door because there was one door separating the front room to the kitchen. I shut the door, but this flat was from the 70s, as I said, all the decor and everything. And the interior door was just a wooden frame with one big piece of glass, So I shut the door with one hand. I'm on the phone with another hand. The pane of glass is about this far away from me because I'm holding it. This guy comes right up to the pane of glass here, right up to it. And he's sneering through the window, going, and he gets the hammer. And he's only about a foot away from me, but just with a pane of glass between us. He gets real close and just goes, ding, 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 with the hammer, okay? And I'm standing there going, oh my God, this is terrifying. And I don't mind telling you, I was my pants. This is straight up from a horror movie, I'm telling you. But this really happened to me, I'm telling you, exactly like this. So I'm standing there like this and I'm thinking, who could this be? Who could this be? And I'm going through like a process of elimination in my mind. And I just keep going back to the person that I had the fight with on Thursday. I'm like, oh my God, obviously it's him. He's come for revenge, okay? He's come to get me because I knew him and he was a bit of a psycho. So I said the guy's name, and this man isn't with us anymore, so I won't take his name in vain because it turns out it wasn't him. But I said the guy's name. I said, is that you? Whatever name. And when I said that, the person took like a bit of a lean, bit of a step back. And I thought, it's him, but just wearing a mask. So that gave me a bunch of confidence. So now I went at him. I opened the door. He swings at me with the lump hammer. I move back. The hammer just misses me, okay? Then he turns around and runs. I run after him. There's the ironing board out because I've been ironing my shirt for a night out with the lads. He throws the ironing board at me, then runs out the door. As he's running out the door, there's some neighbors are saying goodbye. They'd had some friends over for dinner. They're all giving hugs and stuff like that at the car. He barges past them, knocks them out of the way. I'm running after him. I'm like, sorry to the neighbors. And I run after him, but I've got my underpants on and no shoes, okay? The guy gets away, disappears into the darkness. I go back to the place. Shortly after that, the police show up, the forensic team show up, all wearing the white suits and stuff. They go through the house with a fine-tooth comb. Now, what they found was, in the front room where the telephone was, there was a wire, okay? From where the telephone was, there was a wire running up to the ceiling. Whoever this person was had come into the house earlier that day, a few days earlier, I don't know when, and cut the phone wire, okay? So he was watching me on the phone thinking, you're not speaking to anybody because I've disconnected the phone. I've been in this house earlier and cut the phone wire. However, he hadn't cut the phone wire. He disconnected the doorbell, okay? So that's why after a while, he was like, hold on a minute. He is actually talking to somebody. And then that's when he marches forward. So anyway, all of this, what this guy is saying, ties into this perfectly. And apparently, this is a notorious serial killer from the 90s. As I say, if we just read that again, the modus operandi which he had falls in exactly between 1991 and 2004. A string of unsolved murders across northern England followed an identical modus operandi: forced entry, petrol-soaked crime scenes, and blunt force trauma from a hammer. And as it says here, a recent confession from a convicted rapist and arsonist has reignited suspicions. The man, now serving a life sentence, boasted to fellow inmates about his close call with Bisping, implying the UFC star narrowly escaped becoming another victim. Now, I am very, very much looking forward to hearing about this interview. Apparently, it's going to drop on a Patreon soon, later this month. I can't wait to hear it. If anyone knows this guy, that chapter, or Michael Ho, I think his name is. If anyone has any information on this investigation, because it says here, there's another headline, face to face with a monster, my exclusive prison interview with the man claiming to be Northern England's elusive hammer killer. If anyone knows who this guy is, this journalist, not the killer, but the journalist, if you know the killer, let me know that as well, because I want to get my hands on that bastard, let me tell you. But he says he terrorized the region for over a decade, left a trail of unsolved murders, and now he says that Michael Bisping was nearly his victim. Now, I have spoken about this on the past. I have done a YouTube video on this, and I've talked about it on my podcast and things like that. So maybe this is a criminal just trying to get a little bit of fame, trying to tell some stories. Maybe he's talking out of his ass and making this up to try and make himself look cool or hard or get some credit in prison. Who knows? Or maybe this is actually the guy that came to my house. Because the guy that I thought it was, I said to the police who I thought it was, they went round to his house immediately. He was tucked up in bed with his wife and kids. He had a baby at the time and he was tucked up in bed with his wife and kids. So it wasn't who I thought it was, okay? So this is a crazy story. I can't believe that I just saw this post. Apparently we're going to get part 2 of this investigation very, very soon. But anyway, my mind is blown just as much as yours. What a crazy turn of events. Anyway, I'm here in Thailand. Let me know what you think about this situation in the comment section, please. If you have any contacts with this YouTube channel, or if you know anything more about this murderer, okay, let me know, because this has blown my mind big time. This is a blast from the past. This takes me back. I had chills just telling that story, because let me tell you, there's no exaggeration. That is exactly how that situation went down. Anyway, thank you for watching. Subscribe and ring the bell. I'll see you soon.